Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. Well, you've heard of sea monsters. Today, we're discussing a sky monster, the original Große Flieger. This is the 2002 to 2005 IWC Big Pilot's watch, reference 5002-01 in stainless steel, a watch that spawned a universe of imitators but never duplicated. You can see and you can purchase this pioneering, oversized, retro-style pilot's watch on our website. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoyed these videos, and please click on the card in the upper right hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full sales listing for this watch, with additional accessories included in the sale, high resolution images for your desktop, and naturally complete pricing details for this short-lived but hugely influential reference. I should also mention it's just plain huge. The watch on my wrist is 46 millimeters across the round of the case. In practical terms, it's even bigger than that. It's about 46.2, and then if you add the crown, it adds approximately another 9 millimeters across the wrist. It's a big watch. 15.9 millimeters thick. It may not be as thick as you were expecting, but because of the lug-to-lug span of 56.4 millimeters, rest assured, this one is designed to look big even if you have a huge wrist. But that's okay. Big is the style with this watch, as its predecessor, the BR, or the IWC reference 341, was designed to be worn over aviation equipment rather than on a bare wrist. So the good news for those of you who are like me, or actually I should probably say we're all in the same boat here, because this is bigger than anyone's wrist, but it sits securely on a smallish wrist. My wrist 16 centimeters in circumference. Rest assured it's going to look just as big as your wrist if your wrist is 18 to 20 centimeters in circumference, but it sits securely. The shape of the lug, as well as the fact that the strap does pull straight down around the wrist, means that you can get a reasonably snug fit. Now, the strap is a highlight of the watch. As you can see, it's immense with its profile, almost a quarter of an inch thick at the spring bar. It features rivets to contain its multiple layers, and you can see it's a upscale alligator leather, where calfskin is typically used for aviation watches. This is a flagship product for IWC. It was specified with alligator on the bottom. That's where you find the calfskin, quite supple on the underside. The watch also features a combination of massive strap and massive buckle, but you'll note, because this is the 5002, the old school blasted interior finish with the International Watch Co. script. This is how I prefer it. Handsome, discreet, only you'll know. It also features a frosted top, or I should say a satin grained top with the IWC engraved, and then there is a satin vertical flank as well as a polished bevel. A lot of attention to detail in that class, but that goes for the watch. This one's like a bodybuilder that also has a PhD. Even though it's immense and physically imposing, there's also a good deal of intelligence and reason in the layout of the design. First, in the fact that it does fit my smaller wrist securely, and second, in the handsome contours of the case. As you can see, the combination of satin with just a few polished highlights is effective. The highlights, the polished elements, effectively acting as jewelry to break up the mass of metal. Now, the dial is first generation. A couple of features: the specific calibration of the double ringed scale for the power reserve at 3 o'clock, the presence of numeral 9, something that's been recalled for most recent versions of the Big Pilot's watch, the 5009-12, and you can see the triangular double dot index at 12 o'clock, which most people will absolutely swear follows them as they move around the room. Parapoidia, guys, the faces where they don't belong. Now, of course, the dial is easy to read. It's instrument style. The original BR was very much like that. It was a watch that effectively looked like something that could have come out of the flight deck of an aircraft of the 1940s, and the logic underpinning that decision is still flawless. This is easy to read in any light. The base of the black dial is matte, so it doesn't reflect or glare. The contrast is high, the calibrations are large, and the watch is just as easy to read at night, thanks principally to the enormous broadsword-style hands with huge swaths of luminova. Now, I will throw out the fact that, of course, another first-gen trait, the white date disc. This does feature the Probus crown, so if you're looking for the fish crown, this one's been upgraded. Collectors go both ways. Some say they want the original fish-style crown, others say they prefer the Probus crown and the redesigned threading that came with it. Be aware that if you do look for the fish-style crown rather than Probus scafusia, you will find that that it has a tendency to leak, to emit moisture, dust, and to strip out its threading. So this is the upgrade crown that was fitted subsequently. If you want the watch to wear, that's how you want the watch. Now the timepiece is hefty, not just because it's big, but because it has a solid case back. Of course, you can see it is the Big Pilot in name as well. The screwed-in case back as well as the screw-down crown, endowing the watch with 60 meters of water resistance. So on a water-resistant band, IWC does accept that this watch is sufficient for surface bathing and swimming. I wouldn't take it diving, however. Now what it also has is a measure of anti-magnetism and the extraordinary assurance from IWC that if the watch were to be in an explosively decompressing aircraft cabin, it would not blow out seals, nor would it blow out the crystal. That's good to know, but that's one way to one-up your friend who has the unusable helium escape valve on his dive watch. Tell him you have blowout protection on your pilot's watch. Okay, now inside is the caliber 5011. This is based on the original caliber 5000 from the circa Y2K Portuguese automatic. It's a huge 38.2 millimeter diameter automatic winding caliber with a 7-day power reserve. Now some of its peripheral functions do include hacking seconds. So when you pull the crown, you do stop the balance and you can synchronize precisely to a reference time. This earlier caliber also has a much slower beat rate, so you can see these huge stately individual steps as it is a 2.5 hertz escapement rate, so that is 18,000 vibrations per hour. Not only does it look like an old pocket watch on the wrist, but it sounds like one against the ear. Now I showed you the hacking seconds function. Let me just make sure we're not in the danger zone. See, that's why you always check. And I'll show you the quick set function. The quick set allowing you to rapidly cycle the date should the watch run down or encounter an irregular length month. Finally, there is a Breguet overcoil hairspring handmade on the balance of this watch such that it has robust resistance to positional or gravitationally induced timing deviation. And the winding system is IWC's historic Peloton pawl and wheel bidirectional winding system, which is both very efficient and highly shock resistant. You can see this handsome first-of-the-line timepiece, the original Big Pilot, the reference 5002-01 in stainless steel, and purchase it on our website.